yay! Great. I'm here. Okay, hopefully it works this time. Apparently I was having some internet problems that I wasn't aware of. So let me know if you have trouble hearing me or seeing me or even seeing like the videos that I'm sharing with you, because I think it's up and running now, hopefully. Or maybe it's just a day that this is not supposed to happen because, okay, never mind. I got it. Found the presentation. Okay. Yay! All right. Yay, here we go, here we go. Okay, so we're doing the dog skills, the human and a dog training, and it's at 1:30 usually on Wednesdays. But we're a little late now because I had some internet problems. She's gonna message Petra and let her know that I am on now. Okay, so we're going to be covering how do I train my deaf dog, right? So I just have had a lot of people coming to me with deaf dogs lately. Oh, good, there's somebody here. Hi, comment with your name so we can interact. I'd love to be able to help you out. And hopefully the comments will come up easily and I can see them. So a lot of times we struggle with training our deaf dog because we think it's going to be so different than training a dog that isn't deaf. Of course, there are differences. But the biggest thing that I want to get from you for you today is that a deaf dog can still learn, and they can learn in very similar ways that a regular dog does because they learn through our visual cues. They don't necessarily learn by what we say, even a dog that hears, okay? They just realize that word eventually has a meaning. That's not how they learned the word, right? So if I were to say nincompoop, no one knows what that means. But if I pair nincompoop with what nincompoop is, the object of the action, then you make that association, right? So saying that with a dog that can hear, we would say the word sit when they're sitting or as a dog is sitting to make that association. So then with the deaf dog, as they're sitting or when they sit, then we would use a visual hand signal so that they learn to then understand that hand signal means to sit. Great. Okay, we have somebody on here. Yay, welcome. I'm excited to interact with you. Comment with your name or your dog's name if you'd rather. Okay, so Stitch is a dog that I worked with a little while back, and Stitch basically needed help with walking on the leash. The owner wanted to run and Stitch was pulling on the leash, and then also the owner had some hip problems, so it wasn't working so well to have that happen, and this dog was totally deaf. After working with me, then the owner kind of knew what to do and was able to get his dog to walk loosely on the leash and nicely on the leash so that they could enjoy their leash walks together. So my goal is today, or for today, is so that you can get your dog to respond really well for you. And you can have a good relationship and have boundaries and not be so scared about having a deaf dog and not knowing what to do. I do want to encourage you to watch the replay if you're not able to be live today, especially since the timing got kind of moved off with some technological issues. Definitely comment below because that allows me to interact with you, help you out, and we can have a conversation and share this video with others because there are many people that have deaf dogs. If you know any deaf dog websites or Facebook pages, definitely share this video so the people can get the help that they need. I will also be live at Chagrin Yoga on Saturdays, a few Saturdays, 4 Saturdays actually coming up. So if you're in Ohio, join me for the Energy Behind Dog Training on September 9th, 30th, October 21st, and 28th at 12:30. The link is in the comments below, and it'll be up and ready for registration this evening. And it's all about how your thoughts and your emotions affect how your dogs respond to you. So super, super cool. And fun and very, very effective. So do you have difficulty training your deaf dog? Comment below and let me know. Yay, viewer, let me know. Do you have difficulty training your deaf dog? How do I mark a behavior? So those of you that might be familiar with the clicker, we want to use like the click or the yes word to mark a behavior. Not going to work so well for a deaf dog, right? So a visual marker can work really well. And for a dog named Piper that I worked with a while back, I used the thumbs up sign like this as the marker, and then the dog gets treats. So you got to train them what the marker means. So you do thumbs up, treat, and obviously you need to do it by their eyes so that they can see it. And then I would give a treat, and I would repeat that until the dog associates that marker with food, and then I can use that when I'm training something new, because a marker does speed up the learning process if it works really well for you and your dog. So have you used a marker with your deaf dog? Let me know. I would love to know if you have. And on this, I want you to tell me, when am I clicking? I got a little bit of a typo there, huh? This is when you would do a thumbs up sign. So notice here, when am I clicking? What is the dog doing when I'm clicking, and comment that. I want to make sure that I got the sound shared, and I do. Sharing the correct window. So now we just want to go to 44. What you do is you ask your dog to do a behavior sit, and then you click when the dog does the behavior that you want them to do. So just trying to pause that. Whoops, it's going to jump around on me, isn't it? Okay, so I clicked when the dog was sitting. Did you guys get that right? And that's when you would do the thumbs up sign. Okay, now the next thing I'm doing is I'm asking the dog to target. So notice that I click when the dog touches his muzzle to my hand, which is what target training is. So then you would do the thumbs up sign with the opposite hand. Target. Thumbs up. And then give the treat. So again, you're clicking with the behavior that you like when you're doing clicker training. It's bridge training. So with a deaf dog, that would be a thumbs up sign. Anytime you're watching videos on clicker training, then you just want to substitute the click with a thumbs up sign. Does your dog pay attention to you? Would love to know. Let me know, yes or no. And teaching your dog to focus on you is important, especially if you have a deaf dog. So when your dog looks towards you, you want to reward this. You also want to train a watch command. And when your dog naturally walks towards you, you want to reward that as well. So not just looking at you, but actually coming to you, right? Without you saying anything, obviously, because they can't hear anything anyway. And training a watch command so they learn to give you eye contact. So to train a dog to look towards you, so just look in your general direction, have some treats on you and sit or stand in a location, be patient. You can do this while you're reading or watching a movie. And when your dog looks towards you or walks towards you, you're just going to reward with a treat. And then you can hide treats in a drawer or a different location, like a closet or something. And then when they turn and look towards you, or walk towards you, then you could do the bridge and then get the treat out. So the thumbs up sign and get the treat out. So in that way, you're teaching your dog to then respond even when you don't have food on you. So that next step is really important for that reason. Now here's how you train watch. Okay, so again, when you're training something new with any dog, the words mean nothing. So a lot of the concepts for dog training are the same with a deaf dog. So remember, allure means you have the food in the hand. So you're going to notice I have food in my hand and I'm going to lure the dog to look at me in the eyes. And I want you to notice the movement that I do. Treat in your hand, watch. And I'm going to have you watch it again. Now notice I'm saying watch. Who the heck cares? The dog doesn't know what watch means anyway at this point because it's a new word. So you wouldn't say anything. You would just do that movement and then give the treat when the dog gives you eye contact. Right? And remember, you have the food in the hand, so that's guiding the dog to look at your eyes. And then you're literally rewarding them for looking at you. And then you could bridge when they look at you. So you could do there and then thumbs up when they give you eye contact and then give them the treat. So that's how you would train watch. Super helpful. Training check-ins, I also would recommend. So that's having the dog come to you without a command at all. So hand signal, I guess I should say. So no hand signal, just the dog just naturally just checks in. And you reward that. So notice here, I'm off the leash in Kodachrome in Utah. You want to do this in your house or yard. Definitely a fenced in yard. If you're doing it in your yard, you need to be doing this in a safe location. You do not want to be losing your dog. But what I want you to notice is that when the dog comes back or checks in, I give a treat. So I'm just going to have the sound off because it doesn't really matter what you're saying. That's not how the dog is learning anyway. So dog comes in and then the treat is given. Okay. No need to ask for the sit. Dog runs off, comes back and does a check-in. A treat is given. And then you just keep repeating that. And that's how you would train your dog to start paying attention to you off the leash. Again, you want to do this in your yard that's fenced in or a house so that you're doing it safely. What basic commands does your dog know? I would love to know. Comment below and let me know. And again, if I haven't stressed this enough, your dog learns by your visual cues. Think about what your actions and your body language is portraying to your dog. Okay? Lures are a great way to get your dog to do the behavior. So in those past videos, some of them, or like with the watch one, I'm using a lure. Once your dog understands to follow the lure, you can then use the same movement or a similar movement to create a hand signal. Okay. Oh, goody. We have a viewer. Awesome. Awesome. Comment. I'm excited to hear from you. What commands does your dog know? Okay. So I want you to notice the movement that I do with my hand to get this dog to sit. Now there's a food in my hand. So I'm using a lure, something that the dog wants, and that's getting them to sit. Okay. Basically, to train your dog to sit, you would do like an upside down L. So your hand's going to go up and back. So it looks like up and back. And you do that directly in front of your dog with food in your hand. Up and back. And then up and back. As soon as they're in the sit. Up and back. Yay! So it's that upside down L, the dog's following it and they go into the sit. So what would the hand signal be for sit, guys? Probably this. Right? Would transform into that. Or this. Or maybe that. Right? So very similar to the lure that you used. And then your dog learns to listen to that or respond to that visual cue to sit. Right? Okay. So down, you're going to notice I'm going to get the dog into the sit first because it's easier to train down from a sit usually. And then notice the movement that I do to get the dog into the down. You're just going to lure your dog into a sit. So you just go up and back. And then again, I'm using a lure. I have food in the hand. Okay. That's how I'm getting the dog to do what I want them to do. It's not about what I'm saying. It's about my actions and what I'm doing. Kind of like an upside down L. And then you go straight to the floor. There we go. And then I treat. So that could be the bridge with the thumbs up there.
That's what he's supposed to do, I think.
Back up, thumbs up.
Like somebody's worked
treat.
with him, don't you think?
I do. Notice the dog's not going to follow the lure all the time, okay? Because they're learning. Thumbs up, treat for the down. So now I can get the dog in the sit and a down. I trained a Great Dane puppy that was deaf, and we did a lot of this sits and downs, right? Very easy to do. Because any dog can do this unless, you know, they don't have mobility with their legs or their body, they're injured or something, okay? All right, so what would the hand signal be for down, guys? What do you think? Comment and let me know. See if you got it right. Right? It would be some form of that movement, right? Because we were luring this way, so it would change to that, or you could just keep it that way. It doesn't have to be all the way on the ground. It can be up in the air, simple as that. Training a stay. All right, so notice what I do to get this dog to stay. I'm going to click and treat during the stay.
The way that you're going to do that is just getting your dog into a sit or down, which Guido miraculously already is in a down. And then you're just going to give your dog some clicks and treats for maintaining that behavior. Release, and then you want to break them from the stay before they're going to.
So again, the dog isn't releasing because I said release. Right? It doesn't even know what release means. And definitely a deaf dog isn't even going to know what you're saying anyway. Walking away would be the release. Just you walking away. So notice, we're getting the dog into sit or down with the hand signal or the lure. And then we're clicking and treating while they're holding that sit or down. So we're training them to stay.
Look at themselves. Sit, stay. Once they know know to stay in one position really well, then you can start adding the command stay.
There is the hand signal.
Decrease.
So I'm going to be the talker here. All right, so I can keep clicking and treating as often as I need to get that dog to hold that stay. If your dog's going to do really good, you could have less clicks and treats. If they need more clicks and treats, then you would do that. And if we go back a little bit, we can go back to seeing that hand movement that I did, which ends up being the hand signal for stay. So see that movement, right? Which then goes to the next question. Oh, that I don't have listed. What is a hand signal that you would use for stay? Right? Did you integrate that? Comment below and let me know to make sure I communicated clearly. It's also important to do nothing in life is free. This means that your dog does something that you want them to do before they get what they want, or they do a good behavior before they get something that they want. So it could be sitting, it could be anything, but sitting is a common one. So having your dog sit before you put the food bowl down on the floor at meal time, sit before the leash goes on, sit before giving a treat, sit before throwing a ball, sit before going out the door, especially when it leads to an outdoor environment. I don't think they need to sit in every single door in the house, but from inside to outside, definitely. And you're getting the dog to realize they need to do good behavior before they get what they want. Food, go on a walk, get a treat, have the ball thrown, or go out the door, right? Really good concept to do. Do you reward good behavior when your dog wants something? Comment below and let me know. I would love to know. And now we're going to shift to leash walking. I recommend the front hook harness. You can go to this link right here. I do not have that pinned in the comments below, so you could write it down. And if you would like, this link goes to my Amazon store, so I do get a portion of this money. So you would be helping serve reward-based training. You don't pay more though. You don't pay any more money. You would just be supporting four-legged scholars. Okay, so https://amzn.to/43sx capital X 8ZJ. Have you used a front hook harness? Let me know. I would love to know. And for leash walking, so notice that when the dog pulls, that the owner changes directions, but also notice when the dog is walking nicely on the leash, she gives some treats. So you could be doing the thumbs up for the loose leash if you wanted to. Dog pulls, turns. No verbal cues are needed, right? They're learning through the visual cue. I pull on the leash, owner turns, behavior consequence. I get a treat when the leash is loose and the owner walks forward with me when the leash is loose. It's tense. I don't get to go that way. The direction that I wanted to go in gets taken away from me.
Easy.
I keep getting to go forward when that leash is loose. So you're rewarding the dog for a loose leash by walking forward and giving treats. When the leash is tense, you take away the direction that they wanted to go in by turning around and then giving treats when that leash is loose. You could train this with no treating and just being like, I move forward with a loose leash, turn when it's tense, and the dog just learns through the direction that they're wanting to go in. That ends up being the reward. I do think the treating helps though, if you can. It can be harder to treat when you have a deaf dog. So they might not notice that the food is coming as easily. So again, you could do this without any food at all if that ends up being easier for you. Have you used a vibrating collar? I would love to know. Let me know. And for vibrating collars, you want to be really conscious because not all dogs are going to be okay with them. All right. And I feel like they talk about them a lot in the deaf community, and they do for a reason because it helps with calm. However, if your dog is scared of the vibration for any reason, do not use it. We don't need to cause a behavioral problem. Then you just won't be able to use a vibrating collar. And then, you know, you and I could work together privately, or you could get help elsewhere to train come a different way. So we want to make sure that we introduce this collar in a positive way. So you're going to get the vibration collar. Oh, it looks like I skipped a step here. So you take the collar out, you'd show the collar. So let's say this, get this collar here. And you could have it closed if you wanted, or open. This is obviously just a regular collar, but you want to put your imagination caps on and pretend that it's a vibrating collar, okay? So collar is out of sight from myself and the dog, or just from the dog. No treats are happening. Collar goes within sight, and then this dog is going to get treats, okay? So I want to make sure I have food on me, so you're just going to pretend that you do collars out of sight. Collar comes in sight, food, 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 food. Keep treating, 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 treating. Collar goes out of sight, food stops. Collar, food, both stop. Collar, food, 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 maybe for an entire minute of feeding. Keep feeding, keep feeding, keep feeding. A minute goes by, both stop. So basically, the food's not going to happen now, so I'm going to keep that collar out of sight, okay? So you're pairing the sight of the collar with food. That's the first step. And that's really important because you want the dog to associate positivity with seeing it. Then you would put it around their neck. And I wonder if, okay, it looks like I had the two slides mixed up. All right. So I recommend getting one that does not have the shock option. So you never want to shock your dog, right? You're going to show your dog the collar and give treats. When the collar is out of sight, the treats stop. Then you'll put the collar on and give treats while the collar is on your dog. You'll take the collar off and stop giving treats. So the whole time the dog's wearing the collar, he's eating treats. Then the collar is off and the treats stop. You could also do that at mealtime. The collar goes on, eats the food, done eating the food, collar goes off. You're basically saying the collar predicts food. Then you're going to put the collar on the lowest vibration possible, vibrate it lightly, and give your dog a treat. So the lowest vibration and shortest vibration possible. And hopefully you can just stick to that low vibration and never need to increase it. That would be the ideal standpoint. You're only going to increase the vibration a tad if needed. And then you'll vibrate it a little bit more intense, just a tad more, give your dog a treat. Again, your dog may not need to have that vibration increase. They may do well with the lowest vibration. Repeat each step multiple times over a period of days or weeks. So each of these steps you would do for a few days or weeks before you would go to the next one. All right. Again, you're going to stop using the collar if your dog shows any signs of fear or aggression with the collar. It is not worth creating a behavior problem over. Okay. Great. So then to train calm, you're going to vibrate the collar and give a special treat when your dog looks towards you. So you'll vibrate, dog looks towards you, give him a special treat like hot dogs. Then you could even have the treats last like 20 to 30 seconds and give really small pieces to make it be really positive. Take a step away from your dog, so be a few feet away from them. Vibrate when the dog comes to you. Again, give that special treat. 20 to 30 seconds if you'd like, of really small pieces of the special treat. And then you're going to repeat at further and further distances in safe locations. I recommend you're practicing this in your house or your fenced yard. Okay, not in off-leash dangerous locations right now. Okay, that's how you would train calm with a vibrating collar. Really, really simple. All right, guys, if you have any questions on this, let me know. Definitely comment below, share this video with others, watch the replay, because I know a lot of people have deaf dogs and need help, and I would love to be there for them. I also would love to know what topics you would like to see in a Facebook Live. Let me know so that I can be there for you. Again, I will be live in person at Chagrin Yoga in Ohio at 12:30 on September 9th, 30th, 21st, and 28th on the energy behind dog training. Each day will be a different topic. A lot of fun information. It's going to help you get your dog to listen to you a lot better if you look within yourself and notice how your thoughts and your emotions are affecting how your dog responds to you. You will get more reliable and consistent responses. The link is pinned in the comments below for you to register. And I believe Doug said tonight he's going to have it up rocking and rolling. So if you go on there and it's not available yet to register, just wait till tomorrow morning or later on this evening and it should be up and running. You might also be a perfect fit for the Dream Dog program. Got a deaf dog? We will tailor the program to support you, okay? To support your deaf dog. In this program, you're going to feel much more peace and confidence because your dog will learn to reliably listen to your basic commands. You also get your dog to walk loosely on the leash and listen to you well off of the leash. We can help you no matter where you live. We've had clients in Oregon, Idaho, Florida, Ohio, Utah, everywhere. And we've worked in all of those states with Zoom, including Ohio. We can help you anywhere you live. All you need is the internet. If you want to do in person, we can do in person in Northeastern Ohio. There are benefits with online that I cannot do in person, and there are benefits in person that I can't do online. So if you are interested in the Dream Dog program or just working with me in general, and you would love to know which way is the best way to go for you, or even if we're a good match for each other, you can set up a free phone chat right here. Okay, let's find out if we are. It is pinned in the comments below for you to click on, and you can schedule that free phone chat. If you want to learn what other services that I offer, you can go to this link, and that's also pinned in the comments below. And for attending today, you do get 50% off a private session with me. To redeem, you just mentioned this Facebook Live. And I hope to see you at Chagrin Yoga in September or October, or on another Facebook Live. I will be live again next Wednesday at hopefully 1:30 p.m. There's always exceptions, but I do try to be here as best that I can at Wednesdays at 1:30. But I do need to go flow with life, such as the internet was acting up today. There you have it. I still was here. Hope you had an amazing, good time with me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.